Hey everyone, if you followed my channel for a while now, you know how much I love fox photography. I'm completely obsessed with photographing foxes. They're so much fun. This is an area I have passed through before. I've actually taken you along with me on some adventures out here before to photograph the beautiful foxes. I've actually got one just over here coming to check me out, coming to check my camp out. So I'm going to set up my camp and let you guys enjoy this little fox as I do so. All right, got the tent all set up. I hope you enjoyed the little fox to keep you company as I was setting the tent up. He got a little bit bored checking me out, so he's kind of circling around, making his way around my camp. You might see him in the background. You never know with these guys. Welcome to this week's video. I am thrilled to be in this area again. This is an area I have taken you along with me on adventures before. If you haven't seen those yet, I'll put links to them in the description below. You can go check those out. I'll be out here for the next 3 days, camped, doing a whole bunch of hiking, exploring the area even more than I have previously, looking for any wildlife I can find to photograph. Not just foxes, but there are so many birds in the area that I'm hoping to photograph and just be able to get some fun content of. So follow along over the next 3 days as I explore the area and photograph whatever wildlife I can possibly get in front of my lens. I'm going to set up my bedding now, get that ready for tonight, and then grab the camera and we'll set off to see what we can find this evening. Hey everyone, thought it was time to check in with you. I've been hiking around this afternoon and evening and it has been wonderful. I was able to find and photograph a couple of foxes out here, which was splendid. Now these foxes can actually be quite difficult to photograph because they're so small. They're about the size of a house cat or even like a small house cat, and they're always in this thick like brush and vegetation. So imagine trying to photograph a small house cat in like thick vegetation. You just always get twiggy stuff in front of them, and it makes it really difficult to photograph them. That being said, I feel like I got some really fun pictures this evening, some clear pictures, and I was even able to get the two foxes that I was photographing. I was able to get them together, which was, it's always fun getting animals together and seeing the interaction and whatnot. I'm just taking a breather right now. Now, bird activity so far out here, this trip has been really slow. You know, last year I was able to photograph some warblers and different songbirds, which was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. This year so far, I'm not seeing many birds out here, just hummingbirds, and they're so teeny and they're just high up in the trees, so they're really hard to photograph. But I was able to photograph a raven, which I really enjoyed. I I really like ravens. They're just beautiful birds in my opinion, and I always enjoy photographing them. So that was really good. Just a wonderful evening overall. It's just so calm and peaceful and quiet. I love it. There's a slight chill to the air, but it feels really nice after hiking all day. So just headed back to camp right now. Oh, there's a fox up here actually. Let's see what he's doing. Just headed back to camp, and I'm gonna go get some dinner, and then I'm going to actually go to bed. Earlier tonight I had to travel quite a bit yesterday to get here, and I finally stopped driving. It was like 1 in the morning, and I got a few hours of sleep off the road in my truck, which I never enjoy doing that. It's never restful, but a fox is going in the brush. But you know, I was able to get a few hours there of just like interrupted sleep. So I'm just really tired today, so I'm gonna head back to camp and see if I can get some sleep, catch up on some sleep. We'll see. So I'll check in with you guys in the morning, let you know how things are going, and hopefully we'll find some more wildlife out here to be able to photograph. So grateful to be back here. Just a beautiful evening, beautiful area, and yeah, check in with you guys tomorrow. Oh, it is so crazy out there. The wind is just blowing. It is so intense. No pun intended, being in a tent right now. But anyways, this wind today is absolutely nuts. You know, last night I had this pretty crazy rainstorm. It was just pouring and pouring, and then this wind started up and just blew all the clouds out. And it has just been so windy ever since. I don't know if you can hear it out there. It's just crazy. You know, with this wind, there's been really no wildlife today. I've been hiking the majority of the day, and there is just no wildlife out there. No birds, no foxes, nothing else. Just nothing out there. You know, over the years of doing wildlife photography and observing wildlife, I've noticed there's kind of this like tiered list of weather conditions that affect wildlife behavior. And I think pretty low on the list is rain and snow. Wildlife, for the most part, tend to still be active in rain and snow. But I'd say one of the higher weather conditions, one of the top conditions that inhibit wildlife behavior and movement, is intense wind like this. There's just hardly anything that moves around when it's so windy like this. But you know, that doesn't mean we don't go out and still look for animals to photograph. So I've been hiking most of the day, just looking for whatever I can find. Haven't found anything, but I'll head out this evening in about an hour or so and see what I can find after I get a little bit of lunch. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll find something to photograph this evening. I will keep you updated. The wind continued the rest of that day and even got worse the next. This was only a 3-day trip for me, so to spend nearly 2 of those days without seeing any wildlife was pretty demoralizing. But rather than focus on what I had no control over, or my supposed misfortune with the weather, instead I grabbed my backpack and set out into the field in search of wildlife. It was a wonderful opportunity to soak in the beautiful scenery, explore new terrain and trails, and enjoy the rather gusty yet refreshing wind. I had a wonderful time over the next day and a half, and then finally the wind started to die down, and it felt as if the landscape came alive once again. Hey everyone, the wind is finally starting to die down. It has been so windy the last day and a half that I just haven't seen really any wildlife. The birds, foxes, everything has just gone into hiding, but the wind, as you can tell, is finally starting to die down. So I'm going to capitalize on this time to hopefully find some wildlife to photograph. I'm just going to grab some breakfast/lunch really quick. It's already getting to be later afternoon, but I haven't eaten yet today, and I didn't eat last night either because it was too windy to have my stove boil water. So I'm going to get some food, and then we're going to head right back out and see if we can find some wildlife. Hey everyone, that turned out to be a wonderful evening. I had so much fun. So the wind died down for a few hours there. It's starting to pick up quite a bit now, but it died down for a few hours and I was able to photograph a few foxes. You know, the foxes and some ravens came out and I was able to photograph them. First fox I was able to photograph was an older fox, and foxes are kind of funny because, you know, as these guys age, their ears aren't as pointy. They start to droop and kind of flop around a little bit, and I've noticed that they squint a lot more. I think it's because their eyesight starts to go bad and they start to lose their eyesight. So kind of like humans, where we squint to try to see a little bit better. I think these foxes do the same thing, because the older ones that I photographed, they're just kind of like squinting all the time and their ears are all flopped over. So I was able to photograph an older fox, and you know, it was great. But then I came across a younger fox. Now those ones are just beautiful. They're just so much fun to photograph. Their ears are still pointy, their eyes are still open, and just the color that you get on them, they're so pretty, and they're not as hunched over like the older ones, so they're just really fun to photograph. Now this younger one, a lot of times the younger foxes are a lot more wary or skittish of people. They're not as familiar with humans, so this guy was really skittish at first. But then I was kind of making my way around, and I got behind this boulder and kind of crouched down a little bit because he was headed that way, and he saw me like crouched down behind this boulder. He got really curious, and it was awesome because he came up and he like scampered up on this log and came to check me out, and he came really close, and I was able to get some pictures that I'm really happy with, and of him on this log that he was going across. And then he kind of like went behind this bush and like would peek his head out and look at me, and just those beautiful colors on him. Just such pretty animals. And then he would go behind this other bush and kind of check me out. And he was just curious to see what I was doing there behind that rock. And then finally he got tired of me and kind of scampered off under this tree and into the vegetation there. But it was just awesome. I was able to get some pictures of him that I'm just really happy with. Probably my favorite ones of this trip so far. And like I mentioned earlier, in this video, I'm focused on photos a lot more than video content, so that's why I don't have a ton of video content of these foxes in this video. But I have done, like I mentioned before, previous videos, and I've got a lot more video content of those guys, or of these foxes in those videos. So again, go check those out. So much fun. Just headed back to camp right now. I'm really trying to watch my step. It's getting quite dark and it's quite muddy here, so headed back to camp. And if the wind allows me to cook dinner, I will. Otherwise, I'll just wait till the wind's supposed to die down tomorrow, so we'll see. Yeah, I will I'll check in with you guys in the morning. Fantastic day. Absolutely loving it. All right, we'll see you guys in the morning. Hey everyone, good morning. Such a beautiful morning out here. The wind is finally starting to die down, and this just slight breeze, it feels so good. It's very refreshing, and it's just gorgeous out here this morning. I hear some of the birds starting to come back in, and I saw a fox scamper by as I came out of my tent this morning. It's starting to become alive again, and it feels so good. Unfortunately, I do have to pack up and hit the trail and head out of here. It takes me a little while to get out of this area, so I'm gonna have to hit the trail here after I pack up and get some breakfast. But of course, I will show you anything that I see on my way out. Hopefully I'll be able to photograph another fox, maybe some birds or something on my way out of here, and I'll be sure to show you what I do see on my way out. I hope you've enjoyed this week's video. I've had such a fun 3 days out here, even though 2 of the 3 days were pretty much just spent in this crazy wind, not being able to photograph a whole lot. I still had some amazing encounters out here that I'm just thrilled about. Highlight of the trip was definitely that younger fox last night. The pictures that I was able to get from that encounter I'm just so happy about. I checked them last night, and I'm just thrilled about them. So, of course, I'll be sure to show you those pictures at the end of this video here. I hope you've enjoyed. Again, if you want to see more of these foxes, more of the beautiful wildlife that I have seen out here in previous years, be sure to check the videos at the link in the description below. I've had some amazing experiences out here over the years, and I would love for you to be able to see all those, so check those videos out. This is an area that I try to come to as often as I can, but I don't think I'll be back here for at least 2 years, possibly even 3 or more. I'm not sure. It just takes a lot for me to get out and travel to this area and spend time out here. So I've got so many plans of animals that I want to photograph. It's hard to fit them all into the calendar, so I don't know when the next time is I'll be out here. So I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you so much for following along this week. I always appreciate the support. Stay safe out there. We'll see you next time.